Hello, my name is Matthew Lambert, and this is my presentation for Module 10, my case study for EDL 856, School and Community Relations. All right, so the problem, let's look at the case, and I will summarize some of the facts here and what we're looking at. What is happening? A new parent-teacher organization has been formed without affiliation with the national PTA. The new organization, they're wanting to be more heavily involved with the school decision making and processes, and they told me as the principal that they want to be involved in the discipline, teacher performance, curriculum, school evaluation, and observation. And they did have a meeting prior to coming to my office without my knowledge, discussing all of this and discussing what they want and what their goals are as this new organization. Where and when did this occur? The meeting, it occurred in my office. There was a prior meeting again held with the new members of the organization only, and this occurred at the beginning of the school year. The officers were elected last spring of this new organization. Who is involved? Me, the principal, of course. The PTA president, who I might know, is an attorney. The other PTA community members. Potentially involved members in this would be the school board, the teachers, and the superintendent. Summary. Principal, this is continuing the facts here. As the building leader, I'm heavily involved. Many concerns are evident here: the reputation of school, parental involvement, student success measures, and teachers' implications. I do feel uninformed about the situation, and I feel like the PTA role and the role of any of those organizations needs to be explained a little further. This is a new PTA organizations. We're seeing that the members are trying to assert control over school decisions and policies. The organization feels prior school organization has been ineffective in promoting change. They are searching for administrative support, which is extremely, extremely wonderful. And they also do have a desire to work collaborative and work together. And again, the meetings that have occurred, this meeting did take place in the principal office with the new PTA organization members. And as well, we had a prior meeting without the principal. The legal and ethical issues of this study. No legal issues have been breached at this point. There is some ethical standards here as far as, the PTA wants to be involved in observations, evaluations, student performance, curriculum. So there's some confidentiality issues that reside there. And then another ethical issue, I think there's a clouded separation between the PTA organization and the school itself. What does the school do and what's their responsibilities, and what does the PTA do and their responsibilities? The potential harm of this. Of course, it could lead to a school board decision to where it would be out of my hands. Potential harm of observing students in the classroom. Potential harm of teacher support. Will my teachers feel like I am, supporting them if I allow PTA members to come into their classroom and to make these decisions? Also, students' results and the data could be compromised. Do I allow them to have access to all that data and everything in order to make a decision or make my school a better place? That's all the potential harm and the effects of that harm that can be derived from that. Any possible discrimination or harassment. First of all, discrimination of my position as a principal by having the meeting without my knowledge. Why wasn't I informed of this before? Why didn't they address these issues before, and what is going on? And if I could have further helped them with their feelings of the old organization and what needed to be done, I should have been involved in that. Discrimination against children could lead to this in having community members make these decisions on the children's educational needs. And then, of course, harassment of teachers, the potential teacher harassment. As a principal, my teachers at school are overworked as it seems right now. They work very hard making, the best decisions for their students, and that's why we're all here. Involving extra time for them to participate in additional meetings, um, extra time in doing different reports, everything to that effect could lead them to feeling that they're a little bit harassed and their job is a little bit too much. Let me synthesize all this information in one statement. Because the local PTA has discontinued their national affiliation with the PTA and is desiring more control over discipline, teacher performance, curriculum, evaluations, and observations, I, as the principal, am left with the task of responding in a non-threatening and positive manner to facilitate change that will satisfy all parties involved. Let's synthesize the facts here. First of all, let's talk about the people involved in this decision and involved in this. Myself, the principal, the newly elected PTA board that was just elected last spring, the president of the PTA, who I might add is a young attorney, the other people that could potentially be involved here, we have teachers, the school board, and finally the superintendent. The place. What do I know? Many demographics are unknown at this point. What type of community is my school in? Is it a Title I community? Is it an inner city school district? Is it a large school district, small school district? What are the overall demographics? What's the population? What's the income? The education of the people that I'm dealing with? I know one is an attorney, but what all comes into play here? All that information isn't given. The program, the school itself, is it a public school or private school? Elementary, middle, high school, grade levels. What's the mission and vision of the school? This is very important. What are we looking to accomplish? And what about all the past involvement? I know they did back to school nights, some things to that effect, but what did the entire PTA organization do in the past? That information is an unknown at this point. The consideration to stakeholders as I review the information. All stakeholders have the potential to be affected by this conflict. Myself, the principal, the communication, the lack thereof, the president of the organization, the attorney. Have the teachers and staff adequately been considered here? I don't think the students have been considered, and in fact, the community hasn't been considered. Could I learn more? Of course, there's so much more to learn. Learn more about the members, learn about the underlying reason, and seek understanding as to the goals of the organization itself. There's much more needed. Do I know enough to make a decision? Maybe about a possible meeting, but at this point, there's still more information that is needed. Again, researching the role of a PTA organization. What do the other PTA organizations do in the surrounding areas? The legal aspects and issues that may arise out of these decisions. The grade levels, the school setting, the demographics, it all comes into play. Let's talk about negative issues, building climate and teacher perception. The positive, though, we do have collaboration and parental involvement, which we all strive for as an administrator, to collaborate with all of our community members and increase that parental involvement. It's a huge part of our job every day. So let me identify options and the possible consequences. I've actually looked at 4 options in deciding what is best here. Option 1, take no action. Let's keep the status quo. After meeting, tell all the members I'll look into their concerns, but take no responsibility and go on to the other issues at school. And I will discuss the effects of those possible consequences here a little later. Option 2, the new organization, allow them to make the changes. Succumb to their demands, invite into classrooms to observe research data, evaluate employees, make curriculum changes. Request nightly involvement from teachers and adjust their schedules in order to facilitate these meetings and be a part of them. Option 3, dismiss organization and assert control. Inform new PTA organization that it's not feasible. Direct them to school board meetings, superintendent, refuse to implement any of their decisions, and take an authoritative approach. And then finally, option 4, offer school-wide meetings, focus group. Invite all members of the school community to a learning night, Openly discuss issues and concerns of the school. Allow the PTA group to be a vital voice. Establish goals and objectives for accomplishment. Enhance collaboration. Be willing to compromise and show that. The agenda will be discussed between PTA and myself prior to the meeting. Agree on the issues that will be addressed and emphasize professionalism and results to be obtained. Option 1, let's look at the evaluation of these options. If I take no action, some pros of that: no further work on the issue. Concentrate on other issue. Many cons exist, however. A negative perception of the new organization will not feel heard. They will not feel heard, There will be no collaboration. Communication ends. Potential negative job performance. Superiors will be notified. And possible termination of myself. Option 2, the new organization makes all the changes. Pros: no responsibility as the administrator. The new PTA may feel empowered that they will be able to make these changes, and any negative results, they'll be the PTA's responsibility. Cons of this: teachers will not feel supported. They will have extra work time. Confidentiality will be breached. All voices will not be heard, and the perception of my role and my job will be in jeopardy in my performance. Option 3, assert control. I have no changes to make. My decision will be final, and it places any discussion or future conversation to a higher level. The cons: the PTA may be discouraged and frustrated. Collaboration will cease. It's that authoritative relationship and leadership that we know is unhealthy as a school administrator. Possible ramifications of my job and my job performance, and this may increase a volatile situation. Finally, option 4, the school-wide meeting focus group. The pros: easy to implement. Collaboration at an all-time high. It involves every stakeholder of the school. It shows PTA members that I'm willing to hear their concerns and address them. Increases community involvement. May lead to higher achievement scores by getting advice from others. Shows teachers that I support them. And finally, gives that PTA the opportunity to act as that focus group in the meeting. The cons: the control of meeting. Will the meeting be controlled? Who's going to do that? Will it be able to address all the concerns and needs? How am I going to effectively make the changes? Potentially it'll be a longer process. We won't be able to make a decision right away. Attendance at the meeting, hopefully it will be high, but you never know until that meeting occurs. And the stressing importance and seeking involvement. Finally, the option that I chose to seem the best is the school-wide meeting focus group. This can be easily implemented with a message sent out and a robocall to teach parents. The call will stress the importance of their child's education, the difference we are striving to make in their life, ask parents and stakeholders to come with questions and concerns, implement a meeting facilitator that has no connection to the school organization, possibly offer a meal service, finger foods during the meeting, and the PTA will act as a focus group. Why focus groups and in this involvement in meetings is so important, it tells us, for example, we'll never forget the comment of one parent as she left a focus group session we had conducted. As we profusely thanked the participants for their time, this parent said with tears in her eyes, "Thank you. I'm just so glad to know that other parents are in the same boat and that someone really listened to me tonight." Finally, the implementation. Okay, the path of implementation. I'll schedule a meeting through a robocall, invite all members of the school district, hold meetings on a night that doesn't conflict with any other activities, and there will be an agenda created. What may happen? The meeting will have potential to run over time. The meeting may take a different direction. Consensus will not be met. There will be low attendance. Consensus met, plan formulated with focus group, sense of belonging increased. Who needs to know? Parents, teachers, staff, school board, superintendent, community. Can I deal with this on my own? I'll need superintendent support and teacher support. Support of parents and PTA organization will be necessary. What may happen? Consensus may not be met. Another meeting may be necessary. PTA organization will be unsatisfied with the decision. Control may be given to the wrong individuals, and no resolution or decision may be made. If my plan does not work, I'll go back and discuss other options. Other options to consider would be to invite a member of the PTA to the school to explain in detail what our school does, open up communication, plan on weekly meetings, stress more collaboration and openness, obtain a concrete goal, list of goals, start the process over and reconvene, and involve the school board and superintendent. Finally, those are my references. I appreciate it. Thank you all very much.